Alright everyone, it is now official, of course, as of the other day it was pretty much official. The Republicans, with Mike Garcia being re-elected, have taken control of the House of Representatives. The Democrats are no longer capable of holding the lower chamber of Congress. There are still 8 outstanding races. I think the Republicans are favored to win 4 or 5 of those, so they'll have about the same majority that the Democrats had before. It's an underwhelming margin. And there are some neocons in the U.S. House, so it could get troublesome as far as actually using the House's subpoena power like Marjorie Taylor Greene wants. For instance, to look into the FTX scandal, which I think they should expedite and do on day one. To block the IRS expansion, that's a necessity. They will be punished if they don't do so. Now, the American people are not on board with expanding the least liked federal bureau, just to be clear. You have to go to the state DMV to find a bureau at any level that's less popular than the IRS. Repeatedly, year after year. I think the ATF is up there at this point, too. It's funny that more people tolerate the FBI. I wonder why that could be. Propaganda campaigns can be quite successful. The Republicans have now won the House, which means that they should use their power to impeach Joe Biden. That's number one. They've got to be careful, though. They've got to sew up an actual case and not just do what the Democrats did and say, well, we're going to impeach him on partisan lines. The Democrats are good at holding rank. The Republicans are good at fucking themselves. If you start impeachment proceedings, you'd better make sure that you've got enough Republicans to actually vote yay. Because if you don't and you fail, then you get punished for it. It would look like sour grapes and you will falter. Look for the Republicans to potentially do that. I mean, they're Republicans after all. They'll start an impeachment proceeding with 4 extra House seats, knowing full well that a dozen people are going to vote against it because they would rather do other things or something like that. I wouldn't put it past them. Strangle the budget. Keep Bidenomics from being in play. Go ahead and fuck the government. Shut it down and keep it shut down for 2 years if you have to. Oh, but it'll hurt the economy. Yeah, Bidenomics is hurting the economy already, so what's the difference? What's the reason for not stymieing the budget? Force the Democrats to negotiate. Make it very clear and plain. Do the opposite of what McConnell and the Senate GOP just did. They re-elected him, by the way, as Senate leader. Nothing's going to get accomplished in the Senate. The Senate's going to be a 50-50 split probably after Walker. I think he wins his runoff. I'm hopeful of that anyway. Regardless, the filibuster stays in effect. McConnell and Romney and the other GOP morons are going to roll over for any agenda that the Democrats really push anyway. So it's up to a very slim House majority to keep the Democrats from running roughshod over the economy continuously. So yeah, block the IRS expansion. Investigate J6. That would be a good idea. Start a counter committee on that. Investigate everything that you can because investigate Hunter's laptop. You should definitely be looking into that. Expose it to the world. You'll actually get news coverage. The news refused to cover it before. It's going to be kind of conspicuous if there's a major congressional hearing and nobody's posting about it. They will try to do that, by the way. To be clear, some of the House Republicans are pariahs to the legacy media. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Boebert, assuming that she gets over the threshold. She's got a 1,100 vote lead with an automatic recount that's going to be going on in a state that's partially fortified. We'll see what happens. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. They want to use the investigative power of the House, and they should. We'll see if Kevin McCarthy, by the way, continues on as leader of the Republicans in the House. You should kick him aside. Get Marjorie Taylor Greene as House leader. That would piss off the Dems royally. It would be hilarious. Just for the shits and giggles, wouldn't it be worth it? You say that the two parties during election season, they always pretend the other party is the party of Satan and Hitler and stuff like that. Well, if that's actually true, then belly up to the bar and really rankle them. Kevin McCarthy doesn't piss anyone off other than principled conservatives at this point. The Democrats have no problem with him, generally speaking. Impeach Biden if you think that you have the votes. That's not going to be clearly the case. Part of this probably was to protect him. Investigate Hunter's laptop. Investigate J6. Block the IRS expansion. And start opening investigations into what the fuck is happening in the FBI as well. Meanwhile, completely strangulate Biden's budget unless he is willing to parse it down austerity style to a significant degree. Go ahead and take the disproportionate blame when you have a balanced economy finally. Go ahead and take that for the inevitable recession that's coming. That's the other thing we have to talk about really briefly here. The House is going Republican. The House controls the purse strings. Well, the Senate is going to be narrowly Democrat. It's probably going to be a 50-50 with Kamala as the tiebreaker. While the president is a Democrat. The Trump-backed courts, the illegitimate courts of Donald Trump, and the narrowly Republican House will be disproportionately blamed for everything that goes wrong from here on out. Attrition will be taken. The legacy media and big tech are going to dogpile. You know that they're going to do this. We've been seeing it for years. Even when the Dems control both chambers of Congress, they attempt to blame Republicans for economic conditions. It doesn't go over so well, but now they'll have the House narrowly. So in people's minds, if they're faced with a Democrat with even a little bit of charisma, they may come around to the understanding that the reason why the Bidenomic recession happened was because of the evil Republicans blocking some mass spending bill or something like that. And the Republicans can be cowardly, so they might be gulled into supporting it anyway. You could look at the economic situation and say, well, if they just roll over and do whatever the Democrats want without any opposition, the Democrats actually get blamed. The problem is that the political victory you score there comes at the cost of millions of people losing their livelihood. I don't know how good a strategy that is. Even though it sounds good on paper, it's really goddamn sleazy. It's like basically what a lawyer for a Sith Lord would think of. In other words, a Democrat. That's about all. Peace out.